Hi everyone, it's Erin from the Provincial Farmhouse. Today I'm doing a video as part of the Paint Couture creative team. We are going to be creating a French country spring pot. For my project, I'm going to be using this terracotta pot and this sweet little dish that goes underneath. I'm going to first be using Paint Couture's Farmhouse linen chalk paint, and it's going to take 2 coats to get the coverage that I want. I'm going to be painting the outside, the inside, the bottom as well. I did also paint the little dish base that goes underneath the pot, but you will see a little bit later that I changed my mind and I decided to add a different color to the base. Once my 2 coats of paint are completely dry, I'm going to take Redesign's Salon de Diane Transfer. This is a new one. It has 2 sheets in the pack, and I am going to be cutting out a few options that I think may work on my pot. So remember, if you're using transfers, you can always cut them apart to suit your project. When I'm ready, I'm then going to peel the backing off the design and then position it over the top of my pot. I'm then going to use the little wooden transfer stick that comes with the pack, and I'm going to start rubbing my transfer onto the surface. You'll see that I work in sections here because I am going over the lip of the pot, so I'm just taking my time lifting that plastic as I go until I have everything transferred down. I'm then going to take the plastic sheet and do a bit more burnishing. Next, I'm going to take Paint Couture's Embossing Medium, and I have a French style stencil that I'm going to be using. I'm going to hold the stencil down with one hand and apply the Embossing Medium with a palette knife. You can see I'm not using too much product here, and then I'm lifting straight up. Any areas that I got product, I can just wipe that off if I'm not happy with it. And I'm repeating the same process for the other text on the other side. While that's drying, I'm going to take Paint Couture's Basil chalk paint and I'm going to add it to the base of our pot. Once I saw the beautiful roses on this pot, I thought that that color would tie in beautifully, and I really do love the two-toned look. I'm then going to take my Extreme Guard in Satin and I'm going to seal both the pot and the paint. Now, my embossing medium and my paint have been drying for several hours. When the clear coat is dry, I'm going to take Paint Couture's Crackle Step 1 and I'm going to be applying it over my pot first. Now I'm brushing it on, but you will see that I then come back and I do a bit of a stippling motion. This is going to help create more natural, erratic looking cracks. I'm going to repeat the same process on the outside of the pot, about 2/3 of the way down into the pot, and also on the base of the pot. I let my Crackle Step 1 dry for about an hour. It then felt sticky and tacky to the touch, so I came in with Step 2. And I'm going to be applying Step 2 in the same way that I applied Step 1. And then once I have done that, I am going to allow this to dry for several hours. When the crackle is completely dry, I'm going to take Paint Couture's Light Brown Sugar Antiquing Glaze, and I'm going to go around the outside of the pot first, and I'm going to put an even layer of that beautiful glaze over the top of the crackle that we've created. And then once I am happy with that section, I will take a wet wipe and I will start wiping back some of the excess so that we see that glaze sitting down in those beautiful cracks that we created. And as you can see, they look quite natural, and this is just perfect for a vintage look. I'm going to continue working my way around the outside of the pot, repeating that same step, adding the product, wiping it away, and I'm also going to do the inside of the pot and of course the base of the pot, the little dish that we painted green. Now it is going to be more subtle on that green dish, but it will be slightly noticeable, and I really wanted the project to feel a bit more cohesive and really tie together. So what I did to the white part of the pot, I did to the green dish. I wanted to draw a bit more attention to that lovely raised detail, so I'm going to take Paint Couture's Bronze Lux Metallic, and I'm just using a small artist brush to go over the top of the embossing medium that we added earlier. Now I want this to be subtle. It doesn't matter if I miss bits and pieces here and there. I almost want it to look like faded gilding. When that was dry, I took Paint Couture's Verde Green Glaze, and I'm going to be adding that to the pot in areas where I think moss would naturally occur. You can see I've added it, and now I'm using a wet wipe to dab off some of that excess. This looks a lot like moss that naturally occurs on pots, so this is the perfect product for this project today, and I'm just going to continue adding it in random areas. Remember, you can find a full product list in the description below, and I will put my affiliate link in the description and on the screen so that if you want to try any of these wonderful products, you can go and grab them from the Paint Couture website. When I was finished with my pot and it was completely dry, I took out some styrofoam packing that I had and I flipped the pot over, and I'm just going to use a pen to trace around the shape of the pot, and then I am going to be using some scissors to cut out that circular shape. We are going to be creating an insert to go in the pot so that we can add some florals to our pot, make it a really unique piece, hold it in place, and we won't have the need for floral foam. Plus, we're going to do something that's going to make it look more realistic and like it's actually dirt. So I've cut it to size. I'm pushing it into my pot. I'm then going to take Paint Couture's Crust texture. I'm going to pull out some of that product with a palette knife, and I'm putting it in a plastic container. And then I'm going to use Pine Cone Chalk Paint by Paint Couture. I'm going to put a few drops of that into my crust medium. I'm also putting a few little dabs of Pitch Black Chalk Paint by Paint Couture, and I'm going to stir that up. So we're tinting that crust medium to look more like dirt. And now I'm going to use my palette knife to apply it over the top of our styrofoam. So at this point, I'm just adding that product to cover that white so that it's all hidden. Remember, we want this to look like dirt, like the bits and pieces that they put in a lot of the faux florals that you find in a lot of stores. We're making our own today. So I'm going to spread out that product, and then once I'm happy with the coverage, I'm going to take a stiff bristle brush. It's actually a stenciling brush. It's just a little cheapie that I had in my stash, and I'm going to do some dabbing and stippling on that wet product to make it look more realistic. I let that dry overnight, and I'm then going to come in with some florals that I had in my stash, and I am going to start using my pliers to cut the little bits off there that I want to use, and then we can start arranging. Now, obviously you can put any sort of color that you want in your pot if you're going to try this, but as you can see, I'm pushing it in very easily and it's holding it perfectly. So this is a great option if you like to do your own floral arrangements. And often we get this stuff for free, so it's a lot cheaper than using floral foam. And here's our finished spring pot and floral arrangement. This was such a fun project and the perfect spring project for you to try. Let me know what you think of this in the comments. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you hit that like button, comment, and share it out. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any videos from the Paint Couture creative team. Thanks for watching.